You hear me now? Can't hear anything, sadly. Maybe we should start over.
You can't hear me either?
Do you hear now? Probably we should start over again. Please let us know and thank you. Do you hear us now?
Oh! Whoop. Yeah, let's try again. Thank you so much. We were muted, so let's try it again.
But I closed mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, should I start over?
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone, this is
Thank you.
Marilis. And if we haven't met yet, I'm the founder of Powerful Marketers Hub, and I'm the author of The Greatest Marketer of the World, the book that will be launched this year. And I was just saying that I have spent years helping marketers and businesses to work smarter, not harder in marketing. And one thing I have seen is how deeply connected marketing and recruitment actually are, which is why I'm very excited to have this conversation here today.
Yes, and thank you so much from my side. My name is Laura. I'm the host of this LinkedIn Live. This is my second one after all, and first one with the guest. I'm so excited to have Marilis here. And thank you for everybody who notified us about this little technical thing. So now you can hear us, and let's go into the topic. So we have actually spoken with Marilis once before about how marketing and recruitment were kind of two sides of the same coin. But we will bring some practical examples today and share some of our tips that we have picked up along the way. And yeah, I guess the first thing is to discuss why it's even important. So marketing as well as recruitment, they're both like just basically expenses in your Excel sheet if you're a business owner or if you look at the accounting side of it. But actually, it is a really big investment as well. And it can bring back a lot. Or if you don't invest in it at all, it can make the expense way bigger than what you would spend if you just work on it. And so, why is it important to be in the picture to show how the life is inside of your team, and why it's not enough to just post a job ad whenever you need someone, and usually it's like a fire burning, like, oops, now we need a person tomorrow. It doesn't really work that great. And with marketing as well, if you want to, for example, convert followers into sales, then you can't just post an ad and hope to see results in one day. You have to keep at it continuously. But Marilis, maybe you can share some examples from your side, like why you think that both of these areas are really important to do continuously.
Well, I think, first of all, they both, marketing and recruitment, both focus on building trust and building relationships. So I know from the studies that almost 80% of CEOs don't trust the marketing because they can't see how marketing actually helps with their business growth. And many see also HR as just admin work, as you just said, Laura. But both are actually, they both have a big role to business growth. And what I also read once was that 86% of job seekers research a company's reputation before applying, which means you have an employer brand, whether you are managing it or not. So that's, I think, the key takeaway today, that if you're not actively managing right now your employer brand, then your reputation is being shaped by others, employees, candidates, and what is happening in the online platforms, pretty much. So, and what we did also with Laura, we posted on LinkedIn and asked about what are the main, I don't know, pitfalls or comments or challenges you see around marketing and recruitment. And I want to do a shout out to Robin, and he's here. Hi, because I think he shared a great point. So most job descriptions are confusing and vague, making it very hard for candidates and your customers, of course, to even understand what the company does. So I think the problem is that we overcomplicate job descriptions, and probably candidates end up with unrealistic expectations, or the company might even lose out this potential talent because the job posting does not clearly communicate the role and the workplace culture.
This is such a good point. Just the last, the first and the last LinkedIn Live was targeted to candidates, and in there we talked about the pitfalls when writing resumes, and in the CVs as well. Like people like to write like completely empty sentences, like "I work great in a team as well as independently." Like, what does it mean? It doesn't say anything because everybody writes the same thing. But it's also true with the job ads. Like we said, it's you should think about every word and read through the job ad like 5 times, and then every time try to condense it, make it shorter, make it more precise. Because the top candidates, they don't have a lot of time to, read your job ads like books if they are going through like maybe 10, 20, 30 of them every day. They want to know right away if this is for them, and that's where communicating the company culture and the company values is also super, super important. Like, what makes it fun to work in your team? What makes it worthwhile? Especially with the younger generations, they want to know what is the bigger mission, like what is the value that you all together bring into the world. And it's not just like fluff. It's actually important to people to know these things, and to know that you think about those things. And yeah, like you said, most people do their research online, and if you don't even know what's happening, what people are saying about you, then you have absolutely no idea what your brand is like. So I guess the first thing is to kind of like get yourself up to date, and of course offline as well. People talk, people ask for opinions of their friends, of their family, and yeah, especially in a small country like Estonia, like word travels fast. If somebody has a bad experience, they are 10 times more likely to share it than if they have a good experience. So the odds are not in your favor in this regard. So yeah, whether you do anything or not, your brand is being created. It's a great point. You just maybe don't know it.
One thing, what you can do when you are, putting together like a job description, I agree, it has to be clear and simple, but you can treat these descriptions like marketing content, make them engaging, make them relatable. So, yeah, and I agree. Be specific about the company values and expectations, and of course about the responsibilities, because it may not be so clear to your audiences. And for example, I know that HubSpot, they have their own career page, and they are using this uh, real employee testimonials there. So they also use short video stories to help potential hires see what it's like to work there. So this is something you can also consider. So just go through your latest job posting. Would an outsider, immediately understand what the role is and what the company really does? If not, simplify and clarify. So that was something I wanted to add. But coming back to the comment that we got from Robin, I think there were also a comment about the lack of salary transparency. So maybe we could address that as well, because it might be quite frustrating issue for candidates, being asked for salary expectations when the company already probably has a budget for the role. So the problem is that it may it may be very inconvenient for the candidates. So yeah, what are your thoughts here, Laura?
Well, first of all, as a candidate, you should just uh, let's say, get over the inconvenience and just say the number out loudly, proudly, and confidently. But transparency is super important. Usually, what I advise to my clients is to put the salary up if if they don't have like a super big reason why they shouldn't do it. And usually it's not like a concrete number, it's some kind of range. The
Mhm.
risk with adding the range is that the candidates always hope that they are going to get the highest number, and nobody wants to get the lower end of the range.
Mhm.
So that's why, again, like super clear communication is good. So it would make sense to actually say, whether in the job ad or in the very first interview, like why the range is the way that it is, and which type of candidates would be on the lower end, which candidates would be on the higher end, and why. So if you have someone who maybe at the end of the process wins the job, but they don't have that many experiences. Maybe you need to train them a little bit more, so they would be on the lower end of that range. They know it already. It's not like a last minute surprise for them. So they're
Mhm.
not gonna figure out when they come to sign the contract that, oh, but I was hoping for the higher salary number. Like, why is it lower? You have to be really upfront and clear about those things.
Mhm. I agree that both sides should be transparent about salary range, but ranges even. But I think it might be very hard for the candidates, especially, and probably it's because you're going there with a mindset that it's one-sided thing. I mean,
Mm.
what I want to say is that it's always a two-way street.
Oh yes.
That's the mindset shift probably everybody needs to think of. But when you were mentioning about the range, I think that is a good idea because if you don't want to include an exact number, then you can mention that it's in line, let's say, with a national average or with the expertise level, which is
Mhm.
like some average, so you can provide this range.
Yeah.
And probably we shouldn't focus uh, not just numbers, but of course for the candidate it is very important. And it might happen that when you are hiding the salary details, it might help or hurt your recruitment process
And that
because.
depends on the brand again, because sometimes you have this kind of idea about certain companies in your mind,
Mhm.
and you assume if they don't have a salary range noted, you kind of assume whether they are going to underpay or
Yeah,
overpay.
that's true. So it's a tricky question. I don't know. Maybe somebody has great thoughts and comments. Please feel free to share with us how to deal with that. But I think companies should consider um, if and how they are hiding salary details or not.
Yeah.
Probably it depends on the specific job also.
Yeah, and we're moving towards this transparency anyway.
Mhm.
So in a few years, maybe you don't even have a choice. Maybe it's mandatory already,
True.
required by law to make
Mhm.
it open right away. So it's better to jump on that train earlier rather than
Yeah.
later. But to everybody listening live, I think we were also muted when when we asked you what is the main question or worry or topic that brings you here today. What is something that is on your mind? What you would like to know more about, so that we can maybe bring some specific examples to help you
Mhm.
uh, go on.
Mhm. So can you talk about the things that you mentioned, Laura, that people talk anyways. There's word of mouth that people talk. So one thing that I can hear with that in my mind that I cannot forget about this is that companies should always respond to all candidates
Yes.
because I have seen that. I have personally heard so many people complain about never receiving a response after applying, and it's one of the worst things for an employer's reputation.
Hmm. That
People.
That's like one of the things, one of the many things that is similar, because I have also applied for jobs, and I have asked a lot of questions from companies from the customer point of view as well, and it's equally frustrating. But I mean, especially if you are looking for a job and you need one, and you're really anxious to hear back from companies. It is so frustrating to not hear anything back, even if it's like just an automated response, no specific feedback, just like thank you, this time it's a no. It's so much better to just get the no and you get to move on. And the same thing as a customer as well. Like from a marketing perspective, now of course a lot of companies have started to use like the chatbots and whatnot, but still you need to have like an actual person to make sure that every customer question gets a response. And it can be quite tricky because you have ads on social media, you have them in different platforms, you have them somewhere maybe offline as well, and so on and so forth. It's a lot of places to check, but that's why a good process, a good system is something that helps you a lot to make sure that nobody falls through the cracks, as they say. Because even this one person, if you have like 100 people who you respond to, and you have this one person who doesn't receive an answer, this one person can still go and share their frustrations all over town, and your reputation is still going to suffer, and they will have a bad experience, even though you didn't plan it that way.
So we have helped some companies to hire marketers, and what we have always done is that we have said always that responding to candidates is part of your employer branding already. If someone applies and never hears back, it really reflects poorly on your company. And for example, you should always stick to deadlines as well. For an efficient and structured hiring process, uh, first set the clear timeframes for yourself and also for the candidates so that they will know what to expect, right? So, for example, you can say that the first month is where we share information and we collect those applications. Then, let's say we will have another 2 weeks to review all the applications and candidates. And then on week 6, let's say, you can expect that we will respond to candidates who are not with who we are not moving forward, probably.
Yeah.
So, and what we have done, we usually prepare those template responses to notify candidates, so it's very easy to do. And of course, we are always using the BCC line of the emails to protect the privacy and all of that. But at least you can send all responses at once, and you are done with that. And the way we have continued is that once you have the short list now, you can decide whether to conduct one-on-one interviews or continue with group interviews. Because we have worked with group interviews, and it can be a great time saver, especially for first round screening, because you can, for example, if you take, I don't know, 5 candidates for a group interview, you can conduct 2 interviews, and you have already this first impression of the 10 candidates. And then out of this, you will select, 2 or 3 candidates with whom you will have those one-on-one meetings, and then you can make a final decision efficiently without unnecessary delays or anything. So we have successfully implemented this for several companies, and it really works really well, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, I love group interviews so much. I think this might be like a totally separate topic that we can cover someday, about how to do them and what are like the different options. If you're interested, let me know. Um, because yeah, there's like a lot of misconceptions about group interviews, and people kind of, I think, fear them a little bit. But let's come back to the bigger picture of the employer brand. Like, what is it even? I have like attended some great trainings on this topic as well, and and it's not really clear like what it is. And for example, Marilis, you said that even the way that you respond or the fact like whether you do respond or you don't, this is part of the employer brand. But I want to ask the people here live if you can maybe in your words just write to us what you think employer branding even means. Like what is the employer brand? What is it for you? Because it's really a lot of things. And
I would
uh,
love to hear
yeah, a
what
lot
you
of
think.
things for different people.
So one word maybe, or one sentence.
Oh, that's a challenge.
I know it's hard.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I think that there's a lot of uh, people are not clear about what is even marketing meaning. So if we talk about branding, it's even more vague. So people do not understand it very well, and I get this because I think that mm, I lost my thought, but I want to say that if you ask anybody, what is the finance people doing, then we know that they are managing our money in the company, right? And if we ask what a salesperson does, they bring in revenue, right?
Mm.
But what is HR doing? What is marketing doing? It's so vague.
Yeah. It's like everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah. Do we have any comments?
I don't see right now, but let us know if you have any thoughts about this. I know it's a tough nut in the afternoon, but maybe we can go kind of just like step by step and bring some more examples. Even if you're not recruiting, what can you do right now? Because this is something that you need to think about, even if you don't plan on any new hires, like for the next year, because it also helps you bring in clients and so on. So what is the first step? Robin has said that it's a reputation game that develops a desire for people to want to work for you.
Mm.
That's beautiful. Thanks for that, Robin. Yeah, desire for people to want to work with you. That's awesome. Um, and
And
yeah, it's pretty close to actual branding. The desire to buy from you.
yeah, I think it was. No, I'm not saying out the names, otherwise I might be lying. But if I were to ask what is branding, then probably the best answer is that branding is something people talk about your company or you when you are not in the room.
Mhm.
And the same is with recruitment. So people will talk about your company, about how they perceive your company, and um, and you want to make sure that that's the correct way they
Yeah,
perceive you.
no question about it.
Yeah.
We have a few more answers. So, what is an employer brand? Is the feeling that the employer creates both about the company as
Mhm.
well as the workplace. It is definitely a strategic initiative for company growth. Yes, I agree so much. And Stacey says the values and vision of the company drives employee branding. The way things are done, it's the look and feel of it all.
Mhm.
Yeah, wonderful. And like if we go back to the basics, you have like these huge companies that help other huge companies create these amazing brands. Maybe they have like these huge campaigns like everywhere, online and offline. Uh, you see the brand everywhere. It's like you know that they have like hundreds of thousands of employees all over the world, and you want to be one of them. But what if you're just a small company, you have maybe like 10 employees or maybe two employees,
Mhm.
but you still feel that you need to attract the right kind of people, even if it's not by the hundreds, by the thousands, even if you need just one, you want to make sure that it's the right people. So where to start? This is like I think it's the golden rule for marketing as well. It is definitely for recruitment. You need to know who you want to speak to, uh, and maybe we can just share like a few questions that people can think about um, before they start thinking about any kind of I don't know Facebook posts and LinkedIn pages and job ads, like what they need to know about the person that they want to attract. So I can go first. One thing is that they want them to think about what are the hobbies of this
Mm.
person. Uh, uh, of course, you're not going to make any hiring decisions based upon that. But I mean, let's face it, you have a different kind of vision in your head if you think about a person who loves to read all day versus a person who plays like baseball, football, and volleyball all at once. So you have these kind of different, directions of what this person might be like in a work environment as well.
Mhm.
Marie-Lise, what would you like to know about this perfect persona, whether it be a candidate or a customer?
Well, I'd like to emphasize what Stacy also mentioned, the values and the vision. And I believe that a very big part of, or the big element of employer branding is the core values that define, the experience that people might expect from your company. And you mentioned, Laura, earlier the younger generation. Yes, they are more aware of that themselves. That I really want to work for the company where I feel that my core values are aligned with what the company has to offer. So I would probably start with that because even when you get somebody to work for you, but the values are not aligned, and the company culture and the work environment, the leadership style that is all under that, then they won't stick around for a long time. And probably that leads to another hiring round for you, which makes it even more expensive for you.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I do agree.
mhm.
Yeah. So
Next question. Or
yeah, let's take the next question. Again, like the values and vision, and just like creating this
Mhm.
imaginary person. It's already a lot to do, and it's something that I recommend to do together with your team if you have one. Not do it all alone.
Mhm.
To hear from input. But yeah, talking about teams, uh, how you communicate every day with the employees that you already have is also super important. So from a recruitment perspective, again, if your team members are happy with their job, if they are happy with your leadership, if they like what they do, if they like the way that you treat them, the way that you communicate, the way that you problem solve, then they're going to talk to their close ones. Even maybe they go out to a party on Saturday evening and they say, you know, after a few cocktails, like, oh my gosh, I have the best job in the world. You know why? We have this great event, and my boss always listens to me, and la 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 la. And of course, the opposite will happen as well if they are not happy. And also, like from, I guess it's more like sales perspective. I have heard that the first person you have to make the sale to is to yourself, and then to the people that you work with, and then it goes outside the company. So maybe you can share about that, what it is.
Well, excuse me. I'm all about a great communication, and I believe that assumption is the mother of all problems in our personal and professional lives. So this clear and transparent communication really ensures that your employees feel informed and valued every day. But I'd also maybe like to emphasize. Um, what is it exactly that you are communicating externally? I mean, you should always think of being responsible also for your words. And for example, if you communicate one thing and that is not actually what you do in the company, I think that's the biggest mistake a company can do.
Oh,
So,
yes.
especially when it comes to involvement with in sustainability, diversity, the community initiatives, and it really impacts its appeal to potential employees, and people will talk about that if they see that your external message is not aligned with what is actually happening in the company. So that's the biggest mistake I would say companies could do.
Hmm. Yeah, like Stacy said, the look and the feel of it all. Like you may want to make your employer brand look perfect. But if it's not true, don't do it. don't
Yeah,
don't say anything that
better
isn't
be.
true.
I agree. I agree. That's very strong.
Yeah. Can we maybe bring some examples, some great ones and bad ones from real life? I mean, what is especially you have had like so many awesome clients and so many different experiences to pull from. Is there something that pops into your mind right away that you would want to share?
Mhm. Well, I will not say out any names for sure, but uh, another big mistake I see is when, and I have been around when they try to hire marketers, right, or marketing related people. So this is my area of expertise here. But when it comes to them, let's hire a marketing specialist, for example. Have you seen what are the expectations for this role?
It's like 2 pages of things.
Starting from, you need to be very analytic. You need to work with close to the CEO with the strategy. Then you need to, know all about the marketing data. Then you have to be very creative. You need to do designs. You need to do copy. So it's pretty much like building a house. So that the one person needs to do everything, from scratch to to
No,
the to the roof. So it's they are putting up wrong expectations for themselves, for the people they want to hire, and that confuses everybody, and usually that leads to overwhelm for all the people. So it comes down to the clarity. The owners don't know who they need, why they need even this person, what should be their strengths, and what are the things that we already have in the house. So I would say that you should probably take some more time for planning and really making clear what is this specific role, or what are the tasks in this specific role that are mm, that are also like natural to have in one person.
Mm, that's why the persona is again like so important. If you actually think about the type of person that you want to find, you can't describe like logically. You cannot describe like four persons as one. That's why when you hire people into your team, it's good to use some kind of personality testing as well to see that all of these people are not the exact same type. You know, that you have one person who is analytical, and you have one that is a super good communicator, and then you have a third one who is super creative, and so on. You know, it's not realistic to hope to find everything in one person.
And when I mentioned at first that with nearly 80% of executives reportedly lacking trust in marketing, right? Working with clear metrics, can really help them, and working with clarity here will help them. But the problem is that business leaders don't understand what marketing actually does for the business. So I can bring this example. This is also in my upcoming book, by the way. So consider this simple breakdown. For example, if you need to organize a business event in your town, okay? So think of it right now. Then you probably want to use, I don't know, banners to promote an event. So that's advertising. Then you think, oh, we should put ads on the bus. Now that's promotion. And if you think, okay, maybe we should put something to a local newspaper, then this is publicity. And if you are able to engage the media to cover it, that's PR, right? Then moving on, if you discuss these event benefits one-on-one with somebody, that's sales, right? You're already selling something. Maybe you are sending follow-up emails. That's email marketing and client service, right? Because they need to know what is going on. Then you probably put out some social media posts about this event. Well, that's social media marketing. And if your customers, let's say, spread word themselves, that's word of mouth marketing, our favorite. What else? You need to probably optimize your website to appear in search results. Well, that's SEO, right? Social media optimization. Then you think, okay, probably we should run some paid ads on Google or on social media. Well, that's PPC, paid per click advertising. Then you are creating this valuable content, putting blogs on your website, content marketing. So then, after all of this, you need to track the results and all these efforts. So that's metrics, that's analytics. And if you planned and executed everything together, well done, that's marketing. So I think it all comes down to the fact that we actually don't understand what marketing is. So I would say that marketing has a branding problem itself.
Yeah. And of course, we have like the employer brand, but also people want to communicate with other people. So a personal brand is also super important.
Mhm.
I'm gonna come back to that just so I don't forget. I love how you bring out the statistics. One thing that we have talked about again, like why this is even important, is that studies have shown if you hire the wrong person, it's not just a nuisance. It can cost up to 2.5 of their yearly salaries
Ooh.
in direct costs as well as the indirect costs. Someone has to train them. Someone has to do all of this admin work. Some people are more stressed when you don't have the employee in place, and so on and so on and so on. So it is a big cost, if you have a salary right now, maybe you can check from the salary calculator. First of all, what you have, a net salary is one number, but what the company actually pays for you, along with the taxes, is a lot bigger. And if you multiply that by 2.5, it's it's quite a number. So yeah,
That's a very good illustration, and it really puts things into perspective. Yeah,
yeah.
because it might cost you a lot. I mean, a lot of money and also a lot of time if you're not clear with who is the person you need and all of that. So probably I would take more time to do the thinking prior
Yeah,
to anything else.
to prepare.
Yeah, to prepare.
Yeah.
And for the people who are, who are candidates themselves, I really want to emphasize once again that this recruitment is always a two-way process. Oftentimes we are too afraid, when we go to the job interview, we think we cannot ask anything, it's not polite and so on, but it should feel confident already during the interview. Otherwise, it will be even worse, later on if it's not
Yeah.
convenient then.
And I
So
always recommend that you have to ask some questions because otherwise, like, are you even interested?
yep, that might also happen. That's true. So
Yeah.
you need to be engaged, that's for sure. And don't be afraid to ask whether it's company culture, the values we mentioned, or even the leadership style,
Mhm.
or team dynamics, or maybe you want to know, how often do you have team meetings? If I don't know, if the management team is actually, clear about what the company is doing here, even what are the goals for this year, for 5 years. So it's not just nice to have. These are the questions that you probably, pick some values from the questions that will resonate with what you are looking for. And by the end of the day, the real question for you is, who are you giving your most valuable asset and that's time. So make sure you choose the right workplace, and because it's just as important as the company choosing the right candidate.
Yeah, it is. It's a two-way street. I
Mhm.
absolutely agree. Crystal says how company employees are the ambassadors of the values and
So,
vision. That is so true. So that brings me back to the personal branding as well, which is actually absolutely a big part of the employer brand as well. So even if your company is just you at the moment and you don't have a team, then your personal brand is super tied to the company brand. And even if you have like hundreds of employees, then still these employees, they should have some kind of uh, thought put into their own personal brands. So it can be as simple as just using like polite photos online and not posting like super raunchy going out photos. If they have, for example, like a corporate job, it doesn't really mesh well with the corporate values. Of course, you cannot write like this really strict guidelines. Everybody is their own person. They're allowed to share online whatever they want, but it's something that we should think about and we should talk about as well. Kind of just to guide people because it's still like quite new. For example, like posting on LinkedIn and finding jobs on LinkedIn, it's still kind of new to a lot of people, and they don't know what is okay and what kind of influences your personal brand as well. So if you have your employees, it's totally okay to kind of train them a little bit. Tell them, it's good for you as well. Like in the future, if you want to switch jobs, it's bound to happen someday. They're not going to stay with you forever. You might as well support them right away. You can tell them, if you post valuable content about your job right now with me, with this team, it shows you as a professional. And in the future, if you want to change jobs, for example, then your future employer is going to see like, oh, look at them. They were such a great ambassador to their previous employer. Maybe they're going to be like a great asset to me as well. So it's really like a win-win. You don't have to hide your employees, and the employees don't have to shy away from that as well. But the main thing is that you cannot force anybody. If they don't want to say anything, if they don't want to share anything, you cannot make them.
I agree, and it definitely will build trust, and it will attract talent. And of course, by the end of the day, it will strengthen your brand reputation if actually your employees are your ambassadors. But I agree with you, Laura, that oftentimes companies just don't know how to do that. So I think we can support, our employees. For example, we can provide social media training even, or at least we can provide those clear guidelines, what you can do, but of course we cannot force it. Then what companies are doing, they're recognizing and rewarding employees who actively promote the brand. And of course, you can create this shareable content that employees can easily post to their channels. And of course, you should always encourage that internal engagement through workplace culture initiatives. So there are things you can do to help them, and of course, I also support that idea. But again, if people don't feel confident in doing that, that's totally normal, and nobody can force you. And it might mean that you're just introvert and you don't want to do that, and we should respect that. But it might also mean that you're not clear with, okay, what should I do exactly? What should I share? So you can help people here, your employees here.
Yeah. So we are almost reaching the end of our chat. Time flies when you're having fun. Uh, is there anything that you want to add before we talk about the ways that we can maybe help people with this topic? Anything that we haven't mentioned yet?
Well, I think there's too much even to mention, and probably this is also, just the tip of the iceberg again. So I would appreciate if you would comment what are the specific topics that you are more interested. Then we are very happy to have another LinkedIn on a specific topic here, because improving your employer brand and attracting better talents, it's very important topic. And of course I'm happy to share my experiences, but I really need some better guidance or better questions to help you with practical steps here.
Yeah, because every company is different. But I mean, in the big picture, I guess what we covered as well is the first thing that you need to have a good process and you need to have clarity first within the company. And also, you don't have to do everything alone. And for me as well, for example, building my own personal as well as company brand on LinkedIn, I have received a lot of support from you, Marilis, and I'm gonna let you share a little bit about something that you can help others with.
Yay, thank you. So what we do at Powerful Marketers, we help marketers and business leaders work smarter, not harder, and you are all very welcome to explore everything inside the Powerful Marketers Hub. We have this free day trial link here, and Laura is one of our community members. So if this conversation gave you some new ideas or inspiration, I really hope to continue the discussion inside the hub. I am there, Laura is there, other marketers are there, and we are so happy to share, all the processes that we use when we help to recruit marketers. So I hope to see you inside the Both Marketers Hub.
Yeah, and not only when you're recruiting or not recruiting, even just like everyday marketing things, as Miley is made it very clear, it's like so many different things that you cannot be a specialist in all of those, or you would be a superhuman. But if you are thinking about growing your team and it's more relevant for you today. So I want to share a free guide from my side uh, that helps you to get like really clear, simple, actionable steps that you can start with. And it goes through the same things that we mentioned here, as well as some other things that we didn't have time to mention. And yeah, if you click on those links before the end of the week, then I have a special surprise for you as well. So you're gonna have a very busy end of the week. You can go and hang out in the marketing hub, and you can start with your employer branding, baby steps, and yeah, there's of course always good to chat with you on LinkedIn and continue the conversation. I'm sure that other people who are watching us later are gonna have their thoughts as well, and it is such a big topic, so there's a lot to discuss. But do we have any questions?
Nope, I cannot see.
This is your chance now. If you want to ask us anything, then
Yeah, we are still here.
we can do like a mini case study. We have like a few minutes still, so if somebody wants like a really specific kind of help, this is the time.
We have 5 more minutes. Use us. But otherwise, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon again here and there. And yeah, let us know what are the main pitfalls or things you are struggling with or what you have seen, and we are very happy to have part two for this LinkedIn Live.
Yeah, and also tips if you have something that has really worked well for you. I cannot name any names either, but I can just say that most of the times when I have done a big recruitment campaign, my clients also say that, oh, I received some new customers as well. And vice versa, if they have like this big, social media marketing campaign, then it's always good for employer branding as well, because people get a big better idea of what it is that you are offering to the world. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can still comment on that.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stacy, for coming.
Yeah.
Appreciate your support very much and hope to see you soon again. And thank you, Crystal. I'm just scrolling through the.
Yeah.
Yay.
A lot of thank yous.
A lot of thank yous. Take care.
It's the best. And before we sign off, I just want to say that these LinkedIn Lives are going to happen every 3 weeks. And the next one is planned also with a special guest that is going to share very specific examples from one one company about how to build this team feeling and how to resolve pressures in the team. And this is also a part of the employer brand, and I would say maybe the first and most important part, what goes on inside your team. So stay tuned for more information about that.
Yay.
But anyway, thank you so much, Marilis. It's
Thank
always
you,
a
Laura.
pleasure to speak with you.
Likewise.
And yeah, we'll go through the comments and continue the conversation. So take care and yeah,
Thank
all
you.
the best.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.